Can we do a bit of a forward and backward
For sure.
way of doing this podcast?
Yeah, yours. It's your podcast, dude. You can do it the way you want it.
Okay. And I'll tell you why I've been excited to speak to you. I've watched you very closely over the years. I feel there's very few people who are as articulate as you in the Indian cricket space. You're able to express some very deep stuff very well. I think KL Rahul's in that same mold, and I'll attribute that being Kannadiga.
Yeah.
To both of you guys.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you is the same question I asked Kapil Dev. Since Kapil Dev, we've only seen a Hardik Pandya as a national team seam bowling all-rounder.
No, I would disagree with you. I think Irfan Pathan was one of them. Irfan actually has done exceptionally well, batted at number 3 for India in test matches, scored, if I'm not wrong, he scored 100 as well. So I think he was underused as an all-rounder. Maybe that. He's finished won games for India as an all-rounder.
I'm a huge Irfan Pathan fan, and I would actually get very excited to see him bat always.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm looking at Hardik Pandya as the all-rounder because he was brought into the team as the all-rounder.
As an all-rounder.
Irfan Pathan was brought in as a bowler and then became a really good
developed. It was like nobody knew that his ability to bat. And Irfan, I think, was a very I would say, I think he's a very natural learner, and he learns very quickly. I think one of the most evolved kind of human beings in the space of cricket, I would say Harbhajan Singh, Bajupa, Irfan, because coming from where they are, the way they evolved into who they've become today, incredible journeys if you look at it from a very human perspective.
Which is what's not spoken about often.
Yeah.
The only issue I have with punditry, and I'm telling one of our pundits this, so don't mind it, is that there's lesser talk about the emotional side and the psychological side of you guys.
Yeah.
And it's not because of you, it's because of the questions posed to you, because that's what traditional broadcasting was.
Yeah.
But that's also where podcasts come into play.
True.
But okay, again, my question is about all-rounders. What does it take for a kid to actually develop into a seam bowling all-rounder? Because even now, I don't think we're seeing too many people come through.
And I don't think with the way cricket is played in India, especially with the impact player rule in the IPL, there is an opportunity to develop all-rounders. For example, Ashwin was an opening batter in his younger days and then could bowl off spin. Today, he's got a test 100, can bat really well in the lower middle order, can bat anywhere actually, if you look at it. But again, because he's pigeonholed into being a bowler, he's a bowler who can bat, is not considered an all-rounder. Similarly, it's about the perception that's formed. To answer your question, to become a fast bowling all-rounder, you have to kind of strike the iron when it's hot, in a sense. So as far as fast bowling is concerned, to become a good fast bowler, you don't want to start too early. Because I think in cricket, and maybe in all sport, fast bowling is probably the hardest skill to execute and sustain. Because you are putting, I don't know, the numbers are, my numbers could be off. You're putting up to 8 or 10 times or 12 times your body weight through one side of your body. Okay, and it's kind of a unilateral sport. So even I would say, as if I'm getting into coaching at some point. So as a youngster, if you look at the people who've had the longest careers for India, are all people who have started cricket at the age past 10. So 10, 11, 12. Sachin Tendulkar, 12 years old. Rahul Dravid, 10 years old. Saurav Ganguly, I imagine, is about 10. Nobody started before that. Like people who've had the longest, like MS Dhoni, 10, 12 years old, maybe 14 even, right? So you look at all of these guys, they've all started a little late. So because cricket, in a sense, is a sport that uses opposite limbs. So if I'm a right-hander, I use my right leg as a base and my left leg as the dynamic movement, right? But as a right-hander, my left hand is my base as far as my hand is concerned. So cross-sectionally, I'm stronger than cross-sectionally here. So you're working opposite sides. So in that sense, biomechanically, you want to be able to, give your kid the chance to develop their base strength, and then perhaps make them start at an age where they have a chance of not sustaining injuries later on in their careers. They may not sustain anything now. And even with fast bowling, you don't want to put that kind of pressure on a kid who's 8, who's 9, who's 10, who's 11, who's 12. You want them to develop. And you have to understand that anyone who plays cricket from a young age, and a lot of parents don't understand this, right? They don't understand that, and they expect results from kids from the age of 10, 11, 12, right? That's not supposed to happen. Because, again, I'll digress into another topic. Let me stay with this topic. You're also growing. Physically, you're growing. So it depends on how tall you are, how short you are. Your bones are growing. So biomechanically, your action changes as you grow. So if you grow 6 inches, then your action changes. Biomechanics changes. So you want all of that to form. Now look at all the fast bowlers who played for India for a long time. I think Ishant is possibly the youngest, perhaps when he's 17, 18, he played for India, right? Test cricket. But he was also like fully grown by then. You know, he hasn't grown any taller than he was when he started international cricket. Javagal Srinath started at 18. I think Kapil Dev started at 18, 19. Zahir Khan started at 18, 19. Ashish Nehra possibly started much younger, which is why we perhaps saw him go through a lot more injuries. Srishant started really young, a lot of injuries. RP Singh started 16, 17, 18, played for a long time for India. So you look at it, if you go back and just pay attention and assess people who've played, and then you look at it, and then you suddenly realize, oh, these guys started early, these guys started late. Okay, these guys had a lot of injuries, these guys didn't have a lot of injuries. They had long careers. And fast bowlers will go through injuries. It's just a part and parcel of the nature of the beast that is fast bowling. So with all-rounders, you will see that Irfan also started really young. By 17, 18, he was playing for India and started fast bowling at a very young age, at maybe 12, 13. So I saw a lot of injuries through his career as well, which also shortened his career in the sense. Hardik, the same thing, started young, bowling fast when he was really young. And so people say he's always injured. People don't realize that there's a reason for it. You know?
You pay a price for being a fast bowler.
Yeah. There's a massive price paid. It is the genuinely, I would say, mentally, emotionally, physically, the hardest thing to do in cricket is fast bowling.
Yeah. I forgot what the bone is called, but we had a spine surgeon on the show. Basically, if this is your spine, at the base of your spine, there's your pelvis, and something that joins the pelvis and the spine is an arched bone like this. Like in fast bowling injuries, that's what breaks because of years of that.
Your L2, L3, L4, L5, those set of bones, the vertebrae, those vertebrae.
Yeah. And it's that arched bone. I forgot the name of it, but it's that whole region that gets wrecked because of the nature of bowling actions.
Also bowling actions, right? You need to, like if you speak to a Brett Lee, or you speak to Zahir Khan or an L Balaji, you know, he was asked to bowl like that. And then the amount of force that he was putting through the body couldn't sustain the force that he was generating. You know, and then they break down. And like if people actually go and understand what stress fractures are, like, oh, how is he out for 6 months? If people go and understand what stress fractures are, see, normal fractures happen like that, right? If a bone's like this, a normal fracture happens like this. It's broken like that. A stress fracture is if this is the bone, a stress fracture is when you have a crack like this. On a horizontal bone, you have it horizontally.
Somewhere, got it.
So it's in the middle. So for that to fuse takes way longer time than a normal cross-sectional kind of fracture that happens.